Hey everyone, I'm Barbara Hayward, and I want to just introduce myself a little bit again. It's probably been 2 years since I've done this. Introduce myself. I'm a medium clairvoyant. I have been a committed medium clairvoyant for 40 plus years. I started my conscious spiritual journey when I was 30, and so I'm now in my 70s. And I'm not just a medium clairvoyant. I have lived the spiritual life. I had a teacher when I was 30 for 8 years, and it was a most different type of teaching. It wasn't about clairvoyance or learning about my healing ability. It was about getting to know the universe, my people, God, in my definition of God, my guides and helpers, who I call my people, and to listen to the universe. And one of the things that I write in my book is that she taught me how to. Well, she guided me. She didn't teach me how to. I had to work this out. How to hear the unseen and see the unheard. And I would like to give you one of the examples of um, one of the experiences I had not so long ago, actually. So I'm living in New Zealand, and I have a son here, a daughter-in-law, and two grandchildren, my grandbabies. One of the grandchildren has taken a great interest in what I do. And years ago, I invited her at different times if she would like to maybe participate in some of the things that I do in the background. And this was one of those times that she said yes. So, in the backyard of where my son and his family live, they planted this tree, and it'd been there for several years, and now it needed to be moved. It was getting too big, and they needed that area for something else. And so they started digging around it to move it. Now, they wanted to move it from the backyard, in the center of the backyard, into the front yard where all the other trees were. And they were having a great deal of trouble because the roots were really quite deep. Now, one of the things that Crystal had taught me was to talk to nature. Ask nature's permission to do things. Ask nature if they would help me to do certain things with them. And I visited there a couple of times, and I asked about what they were doing, and I saw that there was a little bit of concern trying to get the roots out of the ground because they were quite deep. They'd been in there for quite a while. And so um, I said to my daughter-in-law, would you mind if I use a little bit of the stuff that I do and see if that will help? And so I said to my eldest grandbaby over here, would you like to come with grandma, and I'll sit and show you what I do? Now, normally I would do this in my head, but today I will do it out loud so that you can understand. So she agreed, and she was quite enthusiastic, I will say. And then we took two chairs there, and I spoke to the tree. And I said things like, thank you very much for the beautiful shade that you've given the family over the years. And thank you for allowing, your branches to be used for orange slices for the birds and all that sort of thing. And so I thanked it. And I went through many things of thanking the tree. And I said to the tree, but it is now time for you to be transported to another place. There was a place out in the front where the bigger trees, so there's granddaddy tree there, there's daddy and mummy tree are out the front, and they're waiting for you to come and join the family. You've been here alone for, so many years on your own. But there is a little bit of trouble, a problem, and I was wondering if you could help me. And then I proceeded to say about the roots were very deep, and we need the tree to give up its roots. Would you please be able to lighten and make your roots come up and take away the soil so that when they came in, it was easier to get you out, because we don't want to damage you. We've got a new home for you. It is out the front. And so I thanked the tree, and I got my granddaughter to thank the tree for listening to me. And then it was a few weeks later, I went back to the house, maybe 2.5, 3 weeks, and I noticed the tree was gone. And I asked them about it, and I said, "Oh, how did that go?" And she said, "It was the easiest thing. I went out the next day, and I thought, I've got my spade and all sorts of things to dig it up, and all of a sudden, it just seemed to be easy to remove. It was like the roots weren't so deeply embedded." And I said, "Well, that's exactly what I asked." And I went out the front and I had a look where the tree was. And so I was astounded. I'm always astounded at spirit, always astounded at nature. And that has not changed, because I like to remain in awe of everything that happens around me. I said to my grandbaby, "Would you like to take a chair for Grandma and you?" And we've got a little exercise to do out the front as well. So I placed it, our chairs were placed in front of the tree where my daughter-in-law had placed it. And it wasn't thriving, but it was getting there. It was getting used to its new environment, its new root system into the ground. And it did. And I know those who believe, you'll understand, but the tree looked actually really quite happy. And there was a lot of breeze going on. And so I call that the chatter of the trees and the leaves. And so I just thanked the tree for giving up its roots, for allowing an easy removal out of the position back there. And, I hope that it was enjoying its family and enjoying this spot where the family has chosen. And I asked the other trees, are you still protecting this tree? And I did forget a little spot. I did go out. After I spoke to the tree earlier, I did go out to the front, and I did ask the other trees that there's a new tree coming. Would you mind taking care of it? It's in a new environment. It hasn't had family before. And if you could just take care of this new tree that belongs in this family now. I forgot to tell you that. And so in this time, I gave thanks to the rest of the family of trees, and it was really interesting because the noise of the wind and the voices of the leaves were quite incredible. And that was a few years ago now, and I will tell you that tree looks like it's always been there. And I just wanted to share this story. These are the things that I've done over the years. I will come on board at different times and tell you different stories, short stories, but these are things that are possible when you ask nature if it will help you. We don't want to hurt nature, because sometimes things have to be taken from here to there, and we want it in the best possible way. So I hope that helps you or intrigues you. These are the things that I do in my private world. These are things that I very, very rarely talk about, because I forget to talk about them. They're second nature to me. So welcome to my world, and please subscribe. Please get your friends to look at what's possible in the world of spirit and the world of nature and the world of humanness. Until next time, bye-bye.